In today's video, we're talking weight gain. Welcome to the video. My name is Tyler, also known as the Fit Chemist, and I help people take control of their lives by taking control of their fitness and nutrition habits so that ultimately we can lead a healthier and happier life. So if you are new here, welcome. Please consider subscribing and turning the notifications on. And if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad to see you again. Today we're going to be talking about how quickly you should gain weight in a bulking phase. So previously on this channel, we've done the How to Diet series, so we know everything we possibly need to know about dieting. And if you haven't checked that out, please go ahead and do that. There's so much valuable information within that little series. We also did a video on reverse dieting, so how to transition out of your diet. And then I mentioned in that video that sometimes a reverse diet can transition into a bulking phase. And that's the one thing that I haven't covered on this channel yet. So that's what I want to do. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So today we're going to talk about some weight gain recommendations and how you would set up your bulk accordingly. Make sure you stick around to the end though, guys, because I will be sharing my #1 tip for bulking and you do not want to miss it. And one thing that I also want to mention is that the reason that I'm doing this video is because I'm sort of transitioning into a bulk phase right now. I just spent 3 or 4 months in quarantine maintaining my body weight, and I'm thinking about engaging in a bulk this sort of late summer, fall, maybe carry that into the winter. So if you guys are interested in seeing me document like a mini series about how I go about my own bulk that would sort of correlate with the topics covered in this video, let me know in the comments down below, and that's something I would be happy to film for you guys. Believe it or not, there is a maximum rate of muscle protein synthesis, or MPS, especially for us natty lifters out there. So I see people go into these like dirty bulk modes in which they have huge calorie surplus, which, okay, that might be great for building muscle, but if you extend past that rate of MPS, all those extra calories that you're consuming, they're just gonna be stored on your body as fat. You're gonna get super chunky, and then guess what? The next time you diet down, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time just getting all of that fat off. So today, I'm going to give you guys some recommendations for weight gain in terms of rates based on your experience and your training age. But before I do that, I want to point out that it is sort of complicated because there are a ton of questions that need to be answered when considering your bulk. So some of these questions include, what is your training age? So how experienced are you? How much time have you been spending in the gym? How much muscle are you looking to add? How much strength or muscle did you lose in your last cut? What is your current body fat percentage? If you're at a high body fat percentage already, it might not be a good time to bulk for you because you're just gonna add even more body fat. And like I said earlier, you're just gonna have to cut back down and lose all that anyways. Do you plan on competing soon? How much weight are you comfortable with putting on? So that's something I always joke around with people, that I literally have like a bulking season wardrobe. I have a pair of jeans and a pair of khakis that I wear in bulk season because my legs and glutes especially get so big that I literally do not fit into my other clothes. So that's something that you have to take into account. How long do you want your diet to be? So let's say that you want to gain at a rate of 1% of your body weight per week, but when you diet, you like losing 0.5% of your body weight per week. Well, what that means is that your diet is going to be twice as long to get the same amount of weight off that it took you to put it on. So let's say you gain 10 pounds in 12 weeks. It would take you 24 weeks to get those 10 pounds off. So keep that in mind. As you can see, there are a ton of questions that we need to consider, but with that, let's dive into some weight gain recommendations. So I want to clarify before we get into the recommendations that to be in a bulk phase, you have to be in a calorie surplus. Just as we saw in the How to Diet series, how important a calorie deficit is for weight loss, it's the same thing in a bulk phase. You have to be in a calorie surplus. There are instances where you can lose fat and put on muscle at the same time. This is called body recomposition, but that is a topic for an entirely separate video and not the aim of today's video. So with that, let's transition into the actual recommendations. I took these from Eric Helms over at 3D Muscle Journey. If you are a beginner and you've been training for only a few months or less than a year, you're in the sweet spot of what we call the newbie gains. So you can actually gain a little bit more than someone who's an intermediate or advanced. So if you're progressing on a weekly basis, every time you go into the gym each week, you're adding 5 pounds to the bar, no problem, you're progressing at that rate, then what they would recommend is gaining 1% to 1.5% of your body weight, and hopefully that'll spark some of those newbie gains and that'll transition you into the intermediate phase, which then of course is training from 1 to 2 years. So you're getting some experience under your belt, and maybe your progress has slowed and now your progress is on a monthly basis. So you can no longer add weight to the bar each week, but you can improve from month to month. Then they would recommend doing 0.5% of your body weight to 1% of your body weight. And then if you are someone who's an advanced lifter, you've been training for over 2 years, like myself, I think I'm doing this 6 or 7 years now, and you're progressing on a semi-annual basis, so maybe not month to month, but maybe every couple of months, and really you're just looking at this in terms of the long haul, then they would recommend 0.5% of your body weight or even less, because at that point you're nearing your genetic potential. You no longer have that newbie gain phase. You've probably built all of the muscle that you're going to build already, especially if you're a natural lifter. So they recommend taking this very slow, so that way you can still stimulate some of that muscle growth. But again, any of those extra calories are just gonna go to fat. So that's why advanced lifters have to take things a little bit slower than the others. Let's talk about how you'd actually put this into practice. So I mentioned earlier that I'm transitioning into my own bulking phase after maintaining. So I figured I would just use my own numbers as an example and sort of set up my own bulk here. You guys can see how to do that, and then you can take your own numbers and apply it to your own situation. Right now, I'm sitting around 168 pounds. I've been fluctuating between like 165 and 170 throughout pretty much all of quarantine. So I'm gonna pick a rate of weight gain of 0.5%. Just because I would say I'm somewhere around that intermediate to advanced category. I've been training in terms of training age quite a long time. I'd say I'm an advanced lifter, but when it comes to progress, I can see some progress on a monthly basis and maybe month to month or every other month. So either way, I'm gonna pick 0.5% just because that's also the rate of weight loss that I like to do. That means if I bulk for 24 weeks, it's gonna take me the same amount of time to get that weight off, because of course it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I'm gaining at 0.5% of my body weight per week and then I lose at 0.5% of my body weight per week, that's a 1-to-1 ratio. Whereas if you gain at 1% of your body weight and then you try to lose 0.5%, we talked about this earlier, it's gonna take you twice as long to diet to get all that weight off. So then what we would do is multiply our body weight times the rate of weight loss. So I'd multiply 168 times 0.5% and get 0.84 pounds per week that I need to gain. Then we would just simply multiply that by 3,500, because there are roughly 3,500 calories in a pound. That would give us 2,940 calories. So that would be our surplus for the week. And then to find out how many calories you need to be eating extra each day, you just divide 2,940 divided by 7. That gives us 420. So you need to be in a 420 calorie surplus per day to gain 0.84 pounds per week. Once you've calculated your calorie surplus each day, then all you have to do is add that to your maintenance calories and then find out your new macros, which I'm not gonna go over today because I've covered those already in other videos, which I'll link down below. So now we are ready for my number 1 tip for bulking. Drum roll, please. Take it seriously, but not that seriously. So what do I mean by that? Well, dieting is typically the hard part, and I think the bulk phase or bulk season should be the enjoyable part, because in a diet, you're tracking your calories meticulously, you're tracking your weight to make sure you're losing at the appropriate rate. You're probably not going out to restaurants all that often. You might be declining social events, all things considered. And in a bulk, I feel like that's a time to relax some of those constraints. Go out and enjoy some of those foods that you weren't able to have. So for me, I love eating Five Guys. I'll go out and have that all the time in the bulk season, but it's too high calorie. I can't have that in a cut season. So bulk season is a good time to go enjoy some of those foods, start engaging in those social outings. If you want to go out and have a couple drinks, it's not going to be nearly as detrimental in a bulk phase as it is if you're in a diet. Continue to track progress, but don't obsess over it. So assessing is progressing. I'm not saying don't ever track anything, but you don't have to obsess over the scale weight or tracking your macros to like the exact perfect number. And if you forget to track macros, calories one day, or you don't know the calories in one of your meals, and then you don't know your macros for the day, like in a bulk season, it's really not the end of the world. Or let's say you forget to weigh in a couple days. Like, just give yourself that mental break from dieting. I'd say the main thing to focus on is just enjoy your training in the gym. You're going to get a little bit of fat. You got to embrace that fluff, but your gym sessions are going to go through the roof. You're going to hit some new PRs. Like, enjoy all that stuff, and just know the next time that you diet down, you're going to look a hell of a lot better than the last time you did, because now you got all this hard-earned muscle. So enjoy the process, trust the process. Assessing is progressing, but don't obsess over it. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to share this video with anyone who might be thinking about entering a bulking phase. That would really help me out. And again, if you guys are interested in potentially seeing me document my own little bulk in like a mini series, let me know in the comments down below. But be sure to subscribe, turn the notification bells on so you don't miss when I post new videos. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.